Okay, welcome back everybody to Coffee and Art in the Morning. I'm Dee Dee. If you are watching this show on this recording on Ustream, it's a live show on, if you're watching it on YouTube, it's a live show on Ustream with live chat, mostly live people. And so I did the Happy Mail for about an hour and a half or so today. It was a long one. We had a lot of Happy Mail, which I love. I love showing Happy Mail. I love showing y'all stuff. So now I got a few things that I want to do from Ben. I call him Ben because there were studio scraps from Ben. He sent some of these studio scraps to like continue on or play with. So I'll probably do some of that. And I think, I'm going to go ahead and show you the two color books that I got. And we might start in one of those because a lot of people are asking and saying they've just got theirs in. So I wanted to show the new two color books by Hanna Karlzon, Summer Nights and Daydreams. So I'm going to show those and maybe we'll do a page out of those. Yeah, I know that was like Paula, Journal Artista, said her mom has the Where's Waldo color book. She said, I haven't colored anything in it, but I found all the Waldos. Okay, so Summer Nights and Daydreams, and these are hardback. So these are the kind of books that you'd want to color, like almost to turn into like a children's book of your own, where you've colored everything in. No, it doesn't have to be a children's book, but like you'd want to keep them all. You wouldn't want to tear these out. Now, if you're afraid to color something in it, make a copy and do a practice before you, try to color a whole book. Most of y'all know I'm trying to color the current book I'm trying to color all the way through is the, let me show you. Hold this down here. The Rainforest Escape, and I'm trying to do this with using mostly watercolors. When you see a page like this, it's because there's a flap out, right? There's a flap on these books. So I'm trying to color all the pages in this particular book, and these are going to be kind of the same. You're going to want to color all of it. More than likely. For one, because they're hardback, it's like a, I want to say a real book, but you know what I mean. You're trying to do all the pages in these books, Vicky S. Okay, so let me go ahead and show you. This one's called Daydreams, coloring book illustrated by Hanna Karlzon. And they're really nice, guys. They're really nice quality. The pages are a little thicker. They're not cardstock, but they're a thick paper. I've not tested them yet to see, again, any kind of alcohol-based markers, I would say would be a no-no, unless it's a one-sided page where you can put something behind it and then it doesn't matter if it goes through. But this is not one-sided pages, so you're not going to want to try alcohol-based markers. So you'll want to test any kind of whatever you're using, whether it's markers, watercolor, acrylic paint, pencils are fine, but you want to test them out. Got to run. Okay, bye, Shaps. Thank you for stopping in. Okay, so I'm going to do a little flip through here. So at the beginning, they're both 2016. They have an intro page with this book belongs to for you to put your name. And it says also available Daydream postcards. So you could, if you'd like just to do some postcard size things rather than a full-on book. Making your own picture books like olden day children's book. Yeah, but this is going to be time consuming for you to color. These are they're whimsical, they're nature, they're detailed, but not to the point of Zentangle detailed. You know what I mean? What's her name? Bosch, what's her name? The original girl that did the color books. Well, the one that made it popular. Anyway, some of those are so tiny. Your daydream should be there any day, Suzanne. Yeah. So anyway, there's tiny things, but it's not super, super tiny. So you can color these, and I'm going to test out the Crayola kids markers. Of course, pencils are fine. things like that. And, you know, if there's bigger areas, you can do washes. Bassford. Thank you, Vicki. Bassford. You know, I don't know that this would wrinkle with just a wash, an acrylic wash on it. But again, it never really bothers me if my pages warp a little because of a wash of a paint. But if you're one that does not like the slightest bit of warping with water on your pages, then you really want to take, you know, maybe a back page or the content, you know, here on the front, you know, to test it. Use this as a test page. Okay. All right. So I'm not going to show every single page, but I do want to kind of do a, you know, a little flip so you get the idea. So you can see, and again, it's a hardback, so you're going to have to, you know, push, you know, down the pages to flatten them out. But she's got little girls, whimsy girls, and a whimsical style, I should say, with a lot of nature and flowers, bugs and nature and animals, all kinds of things. This one has houses and flowers, lots of flowers and bugs, butterflies and moths, a lot of birds in this one, cats. And there's a ship. You know, so, you know, for instance, this right here, you could be a person that would want to go in here and color every one of those little things individually with a marker or a pencil or a gel pen. Nothing wrong with that. For me, I probably will do a full-on wash of blue and then go back over the wash, because an acrylic wash, you can cover up with pencil, I use Prismacolor. People ask me what I use. But you can go over an acrylic wash, and by wash, I just mean watered down, and I just use Americana craft paints. If you water them down, because you have to water them down, because if you don't, you're going to just cover up all the lines. But if you water it down, then you can do a wash over the whole thing, and then go back with your color pencil and like do the fish or the little jellyfish and do like that. Hey, Iffy, how you doing? We were just talking about you earlier, hoping you were okay. So, and the same thing for the back here. That I'd probably paint, again, y'all seen me do the black, straight black, not watered down acrylic paint for the backgrounds here. Okay, for the skies. There's a whole bunch of jellyfish, seahorses. So there's it's just very, very inviting. Look, rabbit trail. And again, I'd probably paint this with this inside here, the stars black. And then after I painted it black, I would do light rays with color pencil, because color pencil will go over acrylic paint. Well, let me be more specific. It will go over a matte acrylic paint, and I only use Americana. Gloss paint, shiny paint, I can't guarantee. Can't guarantee your pencils are going to go over a gloss craft paint. But I just like the Americana. They're not paying me or sponsoring me or anything. I just like Americana paint. Okay, but I'm really liking this one. I might have to do us a rabbit trail. Might have to paint us in a rabbit trail. And I do mix media on most of my books. And this one I'm trying to use watercolor, water markers, and the water-based markers. I'm trying to keep this like water medium because it's kind of like a watercolory feel paper. But in most of my color books, I'll use whatever, as long as it doesn't bleed through. Yeah, you like these books so much, these two books? I know everybody's talking about them. They're all talking about them online. So look at the cat with the house. So if you like Kirby Roseanne's or any kind of whimsical girls or anything like that, you'll probably love this book, or these books, I should say. Oh, well, hang with us and just hang out with us then, Iffy. It's a little, look, I'm the boss of my color book. That's going to have to go on there. She's going to have to be saying, I'm the boss. Let me put a note on that, because I'm not going to probably do this one today, but I am going to want. Could actually say I'm the queen of my color book. Maybe I'll say that instead. Or maybe both. I'm making notes, guys. Hang on. I'm the boss of my color book. In this case, because she has a crown, I'm the queen of my color book. And the paper sure seems, yeah, it's not, I don't think it's really watercolor paper. It's not, I'm not sure. It's not, let's put it this way, I've never seen actual watercolor paper exactly like this. So, but it feels, has that feel, it has that texture. So yeah, we're going to put one of those sayings on here. So anyway, little mice and a peacock. Look at the peacock feathers. This one, everybody's loving. Everyone that sees this online is talking about it. Little frog with the mushrooms and the raindrops. So yeah. So I think we'll do a little work in this one for a bit. Just so y'all kind of get the idea here. I'm not showing a whole lot, but you know, you get the idea. Because I mean, literally, I've not seen anybody say anything bad. Not that I see anybody talk bad about any of the color books. Sometimes you'll see someone say that the paper's a little thin, or it warps if it gets wet, or something like that. But you know, we all just have different tastes in color books. And so, yeah. All right, so that's the Daydream one. And I think we might do that rabbit. Yeah, it's watercolor-like. Yeah, exactly, Terry. And she's talking about the Rainforest Escape. This is kind of like a watercolory-like paper. This one is not. It's just paper. It's thin. I would call it thin cardstock or thick paper. Okay. And this one's called Summer Nights. I'm going to have to go get me some more coffee. Okay, so, again, I like this because, you know, the watches and clocks and butterflies, grasshoppers, doors, keys, garden scenes, crown, another kind of little whimsy girl there blowing one of those dandelion weed things, making a wish, kind of some little bit of steampunk. This one has a little bit more faces. Crafting Annie, I have both the Swedish and North American editions. Cool. Cool, Crafting Amy. If you show pictures or anything, give the girls a link to your, where you can see it. Thanks, Terry's putting links from Amazon in here. Cats and birds and bugs. Frogs with houses on their backs. Garden scenes and frogs. A pond with fish. A little, Carrie had to leave, but squirrel. So anyway, very, very playful, whimsical, very make you smile kind of book. And it just makes you want to color the whole thing, right? Makes you want to color the whole thing. Here's a girl walking her bird. Snakes, houses, more houses. So yeah, and I love the very last page in this book. I'll show it to you. There's another rabbit, some keys, some swans. So yeah, I would recommend this. Now I haven't colored it yet, but look, I love this page. Hubster said this reminded him of our daughter Denise when she was young, so I might have to put some glasses on her and color this one as my daughter Denise, and when she was young, and put some glasses on, because she wore glasses up until she was, you know, could get contacts, so she'd have glasses on. So anyway, yeah, so that's Summer Nights, and this one is Daydreams. Yeah, hey, Busy Jill. Good to have you all. Everybody popping in. Hey, CB. Good to see you. Thanks, everybody, for being here. All right, so I think what we're going to do, we're the boss of our color book. No fear. We're going to go for it. We're going to color this one. All right, so now, again, because I'm going to probably start with some paint, I'm not going to want to get paint, you know, sticking pages together, so I'm going to put a piece of wax paper between it. So, I have no plans, so I think we'll color in this for an hour or so, and or for a while, and then let me get my camera here. I'm going to zoom in. I'll zoom in here in just a second, and then we'll do another segment with maybe some bin stuff. You like the girl walking the bird? I know, right, Terry? All right, let's see if we can get, because now the sun is really bright out. It wasn't this morning. Let's get my camera zoomed in. And let's get my Sherry card to focus. Let's focus it. Let's see how that looks. That's pretty good. Now, it's because, you know, it's a new book and it's a hardback. You know, you're going to have to, it doesn't bother me to, you know, work on it like this, but it's going to look a little fisheye in the camera because of the book. So I think if I prop something, just a little bit of something underneath here. Let me get my little pencil sharpening tray here. Something to, just a little prop up. Just to prop it up just a little, and it gives me a little more sturdiness so I can push down on it without the book, you know, doing this. So, you feel a glow coming on, yes, and it's not a hot flash. But I do want to have the black sky because they're stars, and I want this to have a glow and then the rays coming out. So I think I will start with the background. Now, again, we'll see how long it takes. And I'll, you know, I try to go a little fast because I'm streaming, but at the same time, I don't want to rush through every, you know, sometimes it takes a couple of parts. So we may do this in a couple parts. We'll see how it goes. All right, so I'm going to just get out some black Americana black paint. Okay, I'm going to squeeze some of that out. Get my water thing here. Kind of a small brush. Let's see if this one's very flared out. I don't want one with a lot of flared hairs because, yeah, let's see, this one might be better. Okay, so I'm going to just start, and I'll try to stay in camera. I'm just going to keep moving it up and down. That way it's kind of close. Now, right now, I won't be really doing a lot of detail. Can someone post a link to my... It's just Dee Dee Willingham. Beth, just go to Dee Dee Willingham everywhere. You can find me. YouTube, Instagram. I'm Inky Well, I-N-K-I. Inky Well on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. It's just my real name. You can just find me with Dee Dee Willingham. Yeah. Got tons of videos over there. I've only been uploading to YouTube for like 2 years, but I've been streaming for going on 6. I think it'll be 6 years in November that I've been streaming, but I've only been uploading to YouTube for a couple years. But there's still a lot. There are over 400 videos. Most of them are like 3 hours. So there's a lot of stuff over there. And I do have playlists. Like if you like art journaling, mixed media, color book, art cards, I have playlists divided up for all of them. So, yeah. And that, yeah, Carol just posted my Ustream channel, which is Inkwell. But Coffee and Art in the Morning on Ustream, if you're watching. And I always put a link, guys. If you're watching this on YouTube, on a recording, I have in my description box links to everything. So just look in the description box. Okay, so we're going to start now, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to start on the background first. You don't have to do the background first. You can do it however you want. Now, that being said, you see all these little dots? See all those little dots for stars? I'm painting over them all, and I'll put in my own. I'm not going to try to paint around, and that's just me because I'm the boss of my color book. I'm not going to try to paint around all those dots. I'm going to paint over them. Now, I will try to get pretty close to these little fireflies because I'm going to have them glow as well. Okay? If you get into little tight areas like this, in between that you want black, you can go in there with a pen. Like I use where's my, usually, now I haven't tested it in this one, which I will do, the Faber-Castell black brush tip pen, I have not had go through on color book pages. That being said, I haven't tested it on this one, but you can use something like that. Let me get it out here. I got my pencil case here. Here's the brush one. There's the fine tip, extra small. Let me find my brush tip. It's small. I got a whole bunch of the Faber-Castell. Just looking for the brush tip one. It's in here somewhere. I know it is. Okay, here we go. So it's the Faber-Castell Pit brush tip, and I'll use something like this to get in the tiny areas where I want it black. Okay? All right, let me go ahead and get some of this paint off my hands because I don't want to get it all over the book. Get a baby wipe here. If y'all have any questions, no, I don't stream on YouTube, Beth. I don't do live. I mean, I've done some live shows. I've done some Google Hangouts, but no, I just stream here on Ustream and upload. I upload them completely without editing. So when people see my show on YouTube, I've tried to break them up into 1 to 1.5 hours rather than 3 hour long. So instead of like me spending 3 hours straight on this, I'll do 2 parts of like 1.5 hours each. Part 1, part 2, or how many parts it takes. But I do hope people realize when you're watching my show, this is a live show with a live chat, and I'm talking to people. I answer a lot of questions, a lot of repeated questions, which I don't mind doing, but, I have had comments, why do you keep answering the same question over and over? Well, it's because I'm talking to 100 people, and if they ask me a question, I answer it. So, okay, so Tariel Teresa said the brush pen did not go through on her book. Okay, that's good to know. Thanks, Tar Heel. Does your Posca pen go over gel pen? I've never tried to put my Posca pen over gel pen. I don't use very much gel pen, to tell you the truth. If it's a tiny area, I'm mostly using marker or pencil. I don't use gel pens very, very rarely because I don't do the kind of pages that are so small that only a gel pen can get into. So I've not tried to use my white Posca pen over a gel pen. So yeah, I guess if you say it doesn't, then it doesn't. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get started here. Again, I've got wax paper behind here so I can go right off the edge, right? But you want to be careful, that's still wet. You don't want to pull your wax paper down. You don't want to pull your wax paper down and drag it onto the back page. Now, some of it might get a little bit on the edge. I don't care. I'll just paint over it when I get to the other side. But, yeah, I'm trying to be a little careful on the edge. Once I get the edge painted, then I will move the wax paper. So I'm going to go ahead and just do the whole edge at first. And again, I'm just using straight black acrylic paint, not watered down. Not watered down for the sky. Okay, I'm just going to kind of make sure I just keep that wet edge out of my way. And I'm just going to kind of come right along this edge here as close as I can. So you use gel pen for anamorphia. Okay, I don't. I just did a big wash over my anamorphia animals and then go back in there with color pencil for shading. Do you mean the little creatures and stuff? Yeah, see, I would just use marker. I just use the Kid Crayola markers. The bullet tip. I think they're called super tips. So I'm just going to go all the way around the edge first. And it's not right to the center, You know, I might work on that after a while. I'm not worried about it right now. Okay, so let's get the wet edge there. Turn this. I lost my little jar under there. There we go. So right now I'm just going to do all the edge, all the way around, and then I can move the wax paper. I put a little splat right there. Uh-oh, see right there, I didn't move my wax paper up. Let's go that way. All right, there we go. Now we're all the way around the edge. Okay. All right, now let me dry that just to make sure it's dry. I'll try to stay in camera in the sections that I'm working in, guys. Just so I'm not smearing it anywhere, because it's all the way around the page, it's easy for me to drop my hand into something. All right, now we'll come down here. Okay. All right, so again, I'm going to just have my little palette right here of paint, and it might get a little tedious for a bit. Because I'm going to color around. I might do an area in here and then stop and then color something else and then worry about down in here later. We'll see how it goes, because I know it's going to be, you know, it takes time. One of the things about doing a live show with, and I do have to get this just a tiny bit wet. I'm not going to get water, just wet my brush, because the paint just dries out real fast under all these. I have 6 lights on us. It dries pretty fast. One of the things about doing a live show is you can see how long something takes. When you do a speeded up video, not that there's anything wrong with that, but people can get the idea that you can do a color book page like this in, you know, 15 or 20 minutes, and that's just not the case. So when you see a full time actual time video, and again, I'm just going over all those white dots. I'll put in my own. When you see a non-speeded up video, you can see how long something actually takes to color. Now I'm just going to kind of get as close as I can to the little firefly, because then I can get in there with the brush pen. Okay, get right up next to it with the brush pen if you're not using it, or you can get a tiny brush, either way, right? Hey Pyro, we showed your cards earlier on part 1, and I'll upload all that to YouTube later. So I'm just going to go in here. And again, I'm coming up as close as I can to these details, but I'm not necessarily trying to, you know, you can, it just take a little longer. Get right up to the edge of every little bit. Let me see. I think I will try to zoom in a little bit more now, guys. All right, let me refocus. Hang on. Might make it just a tad darker. All right. There we go. But I'm just painting over all those little dots, and then just getting as close as I can, but I'll go around it with the brush pen, so you don't have to worry about painting if you're not, you know, comfortable in your painting or not used to painting a color book page. You can get in there with your brush pen, which you have more control over. So you can see it's a little bit of an edge there. Now, I will say this, when you get into some more detailed areas like in here, you probably want to do it all at one time because it's very easy to get lost in a color book page as to, is that part of a leaf? Is that part of a whatever? It's easy to get lost in some of the details if you're not constantly looking ahead at where you're coloring and keeping track. When you're doing a background like this, it can be easy to lose track of what's what. So it's best to, you know, like I'm just going to go around the outside of everything. Then I'll work on the inside with the brush pen. So I'm just going to kind of go around. And it's just Americana craft paint, not watered down. My brush, I just had to dampen my brush just a little bit to keep the paint flowing because it dries out so quickly under the lights. So if you have any questions, put them in caps. Hey, Whippy Carol and anybody else coming in I might have missed. Trying to keep moving the book with the camera so that I can stay zoomed in for you. See, I just slopped that right there. Let me get a... Not that anything can be painted over though, guys, with color pencil. But just, you know, be careful. Don't freak out. Oh my gosh, there's a black dot there. It's okay. We're going to color. We'll color over it. You can go, color pencil will go over acrylic paint. Trust me, it will go over. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of get a little bit in here. Most of this down here can be done with the brush pen to get it right up into those flowers. So it's not a lot of border down here at the bottom. I just have to keep remembering to move my book over to stay in camera, which means I have to move a lot of stuff out of my way because the book won't slide over all the stuff that's around me. Good to know color pencils go. Oh yeah, I've shown y'all a little that little test, remember, with the black paint? Let me do that real quick for you, just because it needs to be shown again. Let me get a piece of scrap paper. Hang on. Okay, just this little post-it note here. Okay, so let me just show you this as a good example. All right, so this is just black craft paint, right? So I'm going to just put some down here. Okay. Now let me get my black and white pencils here. Oops, sorry guys. The camera's so low, I bumped it again. Okay, so let me dry that. Let me dry that. You got to always remember though that you want your paint dry. Don't try to put color pencil over wet paint, whether it's watercolor, marker, anything. You really want it to be, and especially markers. You have to be especially because you think markers are dry, whether it's the Crayola Kids ones or whatever. You think they're dry, but trust me, you really want to make sure because you try to put pencil over it, you're just going to dig into the paper. So I'm going to dry that little scrap here. All right, so now I'm going to take a black color pencil, okay, and I'm going to really bear down because I want it nice and black. All right. So there's black color pencil, Prismacolor, and there's acrylic paint. Now, where's my white one go? Hang on, guys, I just had it. Here it is. Now I'm going to bear down as hard as I can on top of the black Prismacolor pencil with the white. Okay, now I'm going to push down as hard as I can. And you can see it's smearing out, but you can see hardly any white on the black, can you? And I'm pushing down as hard as I can. And you do always want to make sure you clean your pencils off when you go over a dark color, because otherwise you'll get that on your piece, especially if you're doing portraits. That's why you see on my desk all those white scribbles. I'm constantly cleaning off my pencil. All right, so right there, that is trying to put white Prismacolor over black Prismacolor. Now, this is black acrylic paint. I want y'all to watch this. I am going to barely bear down. I'm not going to bear down hardly at all. Watch. Look. That's over acrylic paint. Yes, Iffy. I'm sorry, Iffy. Yes. Paging Dee Dee. Iffy said paging Dee Dee. Yes, Iffy. So that is how colors can go over acrylic paint. I can practically get this whole thing back to white. See? That's over black acrylic paint. That's over black pencil. I know, exactly. Exactly, Terry. Yeah. All right, let's get back to painting. I'll see if he says something in caps. Somebody said paging Dee Dee, so I missed whatever it was. I know, it is amazing, isn't it, Peggy Sue? I'm just keeping camera. Beth wants to know about using Inktense pencils with water. We did that. We used the Inktense pencils on my last show. Well, part 1 and part 2 of the Pop manga. Here. Let me find it here. We did the Pop manga book. I know I'm really zoomed in. But in this book, last week, this is all done with Inktense. This is Inktense right here. With water, Inktense water. They're talking about the Derwent Inktense pencils. My crafter, I'm so glad to find out about using craft paint. It's much more flexible to use with mixed media. It is. I use all my art cards, my art journal, all done with Americana craft paint. Yeah. But I use Americana. Yeah, the artist grade paints can be not waxy, but plasticky. Now I can't guarantee which ones of those will be useful under color pencil because I only use craft paint. So, okay. And the same thing for my art journals, my art cards. I just use the craft paint. See, I'm not getting right up next to it. I'll get in there with a brush pen. Or you don't even have to have a brush pen. Actually, you can get in there with your color pencil. Pointy, real pointy. Beth wants to use a coated paper. I don't know what kind. Every paper is different, guys. Every color book's different. You have to test it. I can't answer every kind of paper. Sorry, guys. You'll have to I always recommend testing. Every color book is different, too. So you need to test it. So, yeah. Test your color book. Test whatever you're going to use. I'm just keep moving because I'm really zoomed in, guys. Really zoomed in. Yeah, if you have any questions or anything or comments to me, put them in caps. Usually caps mean you're yelling at somebody, but when you're live streaming, caps make it easy for the streamer to see. See, I got to keep moving my color book a lot because I'm so zoomed in. I just get kind of as close as I can, but okay, so you see around the edge there. So I'm going to come inside, and I got this little plate under there to kind of prop me up. All right, so let's go around, and again, I'm just the little drawn circle stars there. I'm just painting right over them. because I'll put in my own. And I'm going to put in my own light rays. So I just want a few showing there, but yes, Deco Art makes Americana. Get another one here for you. Whoops. Hey, Bonnie. Your Kindle says, okay, well, thanks for being here any way you can. Good to see you anytime you can be here. All right, my brush is getting a little dry. I'm just going to give it just a little bit of water on my brush. I don't want to water this down because then it'll become see-through, translucent. And I want the black to be nice and flat. And I do this a lot, guys. After I do this color, it probably will be a couple of hours. So I'll do this hour and another hour. I'll show you some of the black skies I've done, like in the Time Chamber and a couple other ones. Do a little color book. I know I've done flips and things of, a lot of different ones, but it's been a while. And I always have new people asking me, well, I want to see some, and, where is it on your YouTube? And again, I do have playlists. I have a color book playlist, mixed media, an art journal, all kinds of playlists to try to make things as easy as possible to find on YouTube. So I try to make it easy. Hey, New York Crafter. Anybody else popping in that I might have missed? If y'all have anything, questions or anything you want to ask me or talk about, put it in caps. So again, this is a little time consuming, but it also shows you how long it does actually take to color these things in. I could do speed videos, which I'm not, but so I did try to break my videos down into about an hour, hour and a half instead of 3 hours. Ustream allows a 3-hour video at one time. I mean, you can stream all day. You can stream all day, but you have to break it up into 3-hour increments on Ustream. But I've been trying to break them up into an hour, hour and a half. I'm trying to keep remembering to move the book up in frame here. Dee Dee. Hi, Miss Allie. It's been a while. I had a dream about you last night. I was at your house and you couldn't see me, but you could hear me. It was strange. That's funny because somebody else said they had a dream about me making them a grilled cheese. Hopefully my hand is staying out of the way. I'm trying to kind of hold back on the brush. Alright. Like I said, I'm going to at least get the area around the rabbit right in here. I'm probably not going to get down in here in the garden part right now to keep it from being a little too tedious for you in the background. But you can see how long it takes to paint it in. But this is still a lot quicker than doing it with a color pencil, trust me. Trust me, I know. This is much quicker, because if you wanted a nice flat black like this with a color pencil, you'd probably go through a couple of pencils on every time you did this. If you're using Prismacolor, soft color pencils. And it still would not look as nice and flat as this. And you wouldn't be able to put stars. Remember I just showed you this? There's no way to put white pencil over that. Whereas with this, over the black acrylic paint, you can do a star, and you can even do a glow around a star. See? Like that. You can't do that on if it's flat acrylic, flat color pencil. Put a page, trying the acrylic wash and use the black for the sky. I wasn't totally pleased with the result, but hopefully we'll get better. Okay, well, if you mean, how do you mean you weren't totally pleased with the result? Did you try to take the paint right up to the edge and it was kind of messy? That's why I use a brush pen or a pencil. You can use your pencil in those tiny areas if you don't have a brush pen. Again, test your brush. I'm using the Faber-Castell one, and it doesn't seem to go through the Pitt pen. It doesn't seem to go through most color book pages. But I still will test it here, even though somebody did say that they used it in this book and it did not go through. I'll still test it in the front or back. I've used a paper. Okay, y'all are talking about the paper. Okay, yeah, see, I've not used that paper y'all are talking about with the ink tints. So I can't, and I don't, to tell you the truth, I just don't use ink tints that much. So I definitely can't comment on all the different types of paper ink tints can be used on. Well, I don't know. You'd have to explain more, Pam. You have to explain more, like, is it not flat black? Then you probably have too much water. I have no water except dampening my brush every now and then because the lights dry it out. There's no water in my paint. It's straight out of the jar, or straight out of the bottle. No water. If you put water in it, it's going to be see-through, which that's what I do with other parts of the color book pages. I do a wash. I do an acrylic wash where I do water down. I do water down the paint in other things, but not in my black background. I don't water that down at all. Another Peggy. Hey, Peggy's. 2 Peggy's. So that may be what the problem is. I don't know. I put it on YouTube. I meant it wasn't pretty. Oh, I thought you meant you're having problems with the black paint. Keep practicing. Keep practicing. And after this segment, before I start the next segment, I will go check my mail and see if we have any more art cards come in. I'm trying to show them as they come in so everybody sees their art cards before they get swapped out. Okay, so again, I'm not going to go in here with the black paint. Okay, I'm just going to do that. And I got to keep remembering to move my, because I am really zoomed in, guys. I mean, like, look, you can see. Okay, so I'm going to hit this with the heat gun. Clean my brush out well. And let me dry this. Yeah, I'm trying to show the art cards as they come in so that everybody gets to see them put together before I swap them out, you know. Always make sure anything you use on your color book page is dry before you add pencil. Okay, so now I am going to go ahead and test my Pitt pen. Let's go here in the back page. And we'll just do a little test here on the, let's do it over here. I'm gonna do a little test. Well, right there. I'm gonna just go over it about 3 or 4 times to see. Okay, so it did not come through at all. It didn't even ghost. And I went over it like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times, which is more than plenty. You don't ever need to go over something 6 times. But I did it extra, so it's not going through, so we're good to go. So now I'm just going to go in here with it's the Pit pen. It's the brush one. It's just the one that has a B on it. It's black. Okay. Now I'm just going to go in here like any place I want really close up. I am going to put a glow around my little, what do you call it, fireflies. I don't know if they're supposed to be fireflies, but I'm going to make them fireflies. I don't really need to go around the sun because I'm going to, or the lamp light, because I'm going to pull that out. So I don't need any more black in there. So I'm just going to take a couple minutes, try to stay in frame here, and just kind of go around. This is how you get those little tiny details, unless you go in there with a little pointy brush, which that's fine too. I mean, but having a felt brush like this, it's not like floppy. You can get right up to things, you know. You'll know what I mean, Vern. Oh, I think I just now hear my mailman. Yep, he's just now here. See if he has to get out of the truck. I'm looking. I think he's finding something. He might have to come up to my porch. He's still sitting there. Isn't this exciting? I think he's still sitting there. He doesn't usually sit there this long. Maybe he's taking a nap. I don't know. He's digging through his truck, I guess. I don't know. All right, I won't make y'all wait for that. We'll go check the mail after this segment. We'll check the mail after this segment because I'm sure somebody else's art cards have come in. Okay, so now you can see how I'm just getting right up in those areas, right? Around the plants. Again, I'm not going to go down in here. I'm just going to go around the outside here where the stars are going to go. But you can see how close you just get right up in there with your Pit pen. Or a color pencil. You can do the same thing with the color pencil. But the thing about doing the color pencil, like let's say I did the color pencil around fireflies. Remember this. You can't do that on color pencil. We're all mailman stocking. I don't know, Gene. But he always tells me, you keep me in business, because I send out, I send out too. Although packages Hubster takes to the post office, right? He'll take those to the post office. Let's see if he's still sitting out there. He is still there. Oh my gosh, maybe I need to go out there, guys. All right, hang on. I'll be right back. his machine, his scanning machine wasn't working. I'm back. His scanning machine wasn't working. I got like 4 packages here that needed to be scanned. So we'll do a happy mail in between this and the next one. Sorry, guys. I had to stand out there because he was going to take it to the post office and make me go pick it up. I said, no, I'll wait. I'll wait. Go ahead. Take your time. Get your scanner working. I'll wait. So, yeah, I waited. Oh, now I'm out of breath. Okay, so, yeah, I will open. I don't even know who they're from yet, guys. I was just happy to get them without having to go to the post office. So I said, I'll stand here and wait while you, uh-oh, I think he brought me something else. Hang on. And now I have, he did it because I forgot one, gave me a big box from Packer Dye. So we'll have another happy mail section in a minute. Whew. Yeah. So now I got a Packer Dye package too. And let me just tell you who I got from. Packer Dye. This one is from Thailand. Kritcha. From Thailand. Okay. Then I got something here. Oh, Terry. Terry B. Terry Trouble. Your cards are here. Then I got something here from Teresa Guffey. Teresa, you were asking, she's still here. Teresa Guffey. And then I got some envelopes here too. Oh, look. Bam! The new Blick catalog. Got that. Then I got another package here from, who's it from? I'm not sure. It's from England. HA. I'll have to open it to see who this one's from. It's from UK though. Then I got another one here from Kylie. And then this is Bill. I'll give those to Upster. Jody. Got Jody's cards. Jody. Bill. Angie Bell. Your cards are here, Angie Bell. And Jennifer Crackalacken. So that's everything I got in. Woo! Yeah. So in case you're here and you wanted to know if your cards came in, that's whose I've got today. Happy Mail Heaven, yes. And a big box from Packer Dye. I don't know if she's still here because she has the kids to run around. She doesn't get to stay here much. Packer Dye doesn't get to stay here much. Yep, there she is. She's here. Yeah. Nothing from Heather. No Heather. Unless, oh, Heather's the H. Okay. Let me write that on that envelope. Heather. Okay. Heather. I'm sure her name's on the inside. Okay, Heather. Thank you, guys. I wrote it on the envelope. Now you got to wait for it. Wait for it. It's a heavy one, too. It is a heavy one. I will upload, after, let me just do this segment here, guys. Let me work for just right along this edge, and then I'm going to stop this, and we'll do Happy Mail, then I'll do a part 2 with this, because I can upload them in parts, together, so they'll be, the parts will be together. Let me just go ahead and finish right along this edge here, though, so I don't forget where I'm going. Yeah. Then we'll do a Happy Mail, then we'll go back and do more on this page. Yeah, I'll open it because I know she probably can't stay long. Just give me about 5 more minutes, guys, and then we'll do it. Okay. Just give me a couple more minutes here just to get along this edge. This will be a good, be a good stopping point on the background here. So you can see you can get real sharp edges with the pen. See? Same thing here for the outer edge. You just get right in there with the pen. I left my coffee downstairs. I went down to get the mail and left my coffee. Alright, so I'll stop right on that edge, right there, just so y'all can kind of see how it's going. Alright. Happy Mail is Christmas every day. Yeah, it is. It is Christmas every day. I love sharing it with you guys. I only can just share it, a little at a time because it does get costly. My mailman will get after me, and I don't mean the one that delivers my mail. I mean my other mailman, the one that takes it to the post office for me. Okay, so you can see how it's going there. I really wanted to get around the light here. Oh, let me do this little bug. Let me do this last little bug. This plant right there. And we'll do a part 2. Because I'm going to have these little glow bugs glow. Do y'all seem to see less and less of them anymore? I mean, when we were growing up, we'd see thousands of them all the time. I don't remember, they just don't have them as much out anymore. Of course, I don't stay out at night like maybe I used to. I don't know. I just don't see them as much. Okay. So, let's back out real quick. Okay. This autofocus again. You can see how far we've got with just the paint and the marker. And that only took, that took less than an hour, guys, to do that. Never had fireflies here in Oklahoma. I never saw one until I went to Indiana. Yeah, I just don't see them that much. Well, you probably wouldn't see them in town much, yeah, CB. But CB, who's from where I grew up, yeah, anyway. Okay, so I'm going to stop right here, guys, on this part. We didn't get a lot done, but we did talk about some of the techniques and the paint and the marker and started this page, so it'll be part 1. And we'll be back to do another segment after we do Happy Mail, part 2. And a whimsical style, I should say, with a lot of nature and flowers, bugs and nature and animals, all kinds of things. This one has houses and flowers, lots of flowers and bugs, butterflies and moths, a lot of birds in this one, cats. And there's a ship. See now, for instance, this right here, you could be a person that would want to go in here and color every one of those little things individually with a marker or a pencil or a gel pen. Nothing wrong with that. For me, I probably will do a full-on wash of blue and then go back over the wash, because an acrylic wash, you can cover up with pencil. I use Prismacolor. People ask me what I use. But you can go over an acrylic wash, and by wash I just mean watered down, and I just use Americana craft paints. If you water them down, because you have to water them down, because if you don't, you're going to just cover up all the lines. But if you water it down, then you can do a wash over the whole thing, and then go back with your color pencil and like do the fish or the little jellyfish and do like that. Hey, Iffy, how you doing? We were just talking about you earlier, hoping you were okay. So, and the same thing for the back here. That I'd probably Bosch, what's her name? The original girl that did the color books. Well, the one that made it popular. Anyway, some of those are so tiny. Your daydream should be there any day, Suzanne. Yeah. So anyway, there's tiny things, but it's not super, super tiny. So you can color these, and I'm going to test out the Crayola kids markers. Of course, pencils are fine, things like that. And, you know, if there's bigger areas, you can do washes. Bassford. Thank you, Vicki. Bassford. You know, I don't know that this would wrinkle with just a wash, an acrylic wash on it. But again, it never really bothers me if my pages warp a little because of a wash of a paint. But if you're one that does not like the slightest bit of warping with water on your pages, then you really want to take, you know, maybe a back page or the content, you know, here on the front, you know, to test it. Use this as a test page. Okay. All right. So I'm not going to show every single page, but I do want to kind of do a, you know, a little flip so you get the idea. So you can see, and again, it's a hardback, so you're going to have to, you know, push, you know, down the pages to flatten them out. But she's got little girls, whimsy girls. Okay, welcome back everybody to Coffee and Art in the Morning. I'm Dee Dee. If you are watching this show on this recording on Ustream, it's a live show on, if you're watching it on YouTube, it's a live show on Ustream with live chat, mostly live people. And so I did the Happy Mail for about an hour and a half or so today. It was a long one. We had a lot of Happy Mail, which I love. I love showing Happy Mail. I love showing y'all stuff. So now I got a few things that I want to do from Ben. I call him Ben because there were studio scraps from Ben. He sent some of these studio scraps to like continue on or play with. So I'll probably do some of that. And I think, well, I'm going to go ahead and show you the 2 color books that I got. And we might color starting one of those. Because a lot of people are asking and saying they've just got theirs in. So I wanted to show the new 2 color books by Hanna Karlzon, Summer Nights and Daydreams. So I'm going to show those, and maybe we'll do a page out of those. Yeah, I know that was like Paula, Journal Artista, said her mom has the Where's Waldo color book. She said, I haven't colored anything in it, but I found all the Waldos. Okay, so Summer Nights and Daydreams. And these are hardback. So these are kind of the kind of books that you'd want to color, like almost to turn into like a children's book of your own, where you've colored everything in. No, it doesn't have to be a children's book, but you know, like you'd want to keep them all. And you wouldn't want to tear these out. Now, you know, if you're afraid to color something in it, make a copy and do a practice before you try to color a whole book. Most of y'all know I'm trying to color the current book I'm trying to color all the way through is the, let me show you. Hold this down here. The Rainforest Escape, and I'm trying to do this with using mostly watercolors. When you see a page like this, it's because there's a flap out, right? There's a flap on these books. So I'm trying to color all the pages in this particular book, and these are going to be kind of the same. You're going to want to color all of it. More than likely. For one, because they're hardback, it's like a, I want to say a real book, but you know what I mean. You're trying to do all the pages in these books, Vicki S. Okay, so let me go ahead and show you. This one's called Daydreams, coloring book illustrated by Hanna Karlzon. And they're really nice, guys. They're really nice quality. The pages are a little thicker. They're not cardstock, but they're a thick paper. I've not tested them yet to see. Again, any kind of alcohol-based markers, I would say, would be a no-no, unless it's a one-sided page where you can put something behind it and then it doesn't matter if it goes through. But this is not one-sided pages, so you're not going to want to try alcohol-based markers. So you'll want to test any kind of whatever you're using, whether it's markers, watercolor, acrylic paint. Pencils are fine, but you want to test them out. Got to run. Okay, bye, Chaps. Thank you for stopping in. Okay, so I'm going to do a little flip through here. So at the beginning, they're both 2016. They have an intro page with "This book belongs to" for you to put your name. And it says also available Daydream postcards. So you could, if you'd like just to do some postcard size things rather than a full-on book. Making your own picture books like olden day children's book. Yeah, but this is going to be time consuming for you to color. These are they're whimsical, they're nature, they're detailed, but not to the point of Zentangle detailed. You know what I mean? What's her name?